Guys, I've spent the last 10 years working on how to get your finances right. And I've learned from a lot of people that have done really well in their life. And I've learned from a lot of people that just haven't been able to figure themselves out. And they're still nowhere to this day. Now, over my career, I've successfully invested in myself, trying to upskill my skills in many areas of life, including finance and money. And what I've learned is that there are many traits that keep people poor and many traits that help people reach their financial freedom and reach their goals. So in this video, I'm gonna help you understand that there are certain things that you wanna avoid, as it's gonna keep you poor. So one of the biggest ways that people get themselves into trouble is that they pay themselves last. Now, Rich Dad, Poor Dad went over this in his books, and it's really important to really pay yourself first. So when you get your paycheck each day, instead of spending money on rent, spending money on food, drinks, transport, and then whatever's left over, do something with it. You want to do it the opposite way. You want to pay yourself first by giving yourself 10 to 20% off that paycheck and putting that towards your savings or into investments. So that way you've still got 80% off your paycheck to work with, and you can then decide, okay, I can pay it on rent, I can pay it on food, and after that, these are optional things that I can sort of squeeze my budget on. So if you start doing that, you're gonna live within your means, and with that 20% that you're gonna be saving, it's gonna help you for like a rainy day, or it's gonna grow as an investment for you. Now that number, 20%, is not just plucked out of the air. It's something that's gonna be personal to you, and it depends on how much of your how much earnings you make. If you are making a good amount of income through your job, then you can afford to save more. Some people can save 30, 40, 50% of their paycheck, depending on what they get paid. So what people sometimes say is that, hey, I don't get paid enough, there's nothing left after the paycheck. But when you really break down everything on the individual, they're often wasting money on things they don't really need. They're going to buy another t-shirt, they've gone to buy something for their phone, and they are not thinking about their purchases. So if you do want to get ahead, then I recommend that you pay yourself first, and then you use what's left over for your lifestyle. When you put this into practice, that 10 to 20% that you're saving is gonna slowly build up and compound over time. And over time, you're gonna have more money sitting there in your savings account. From there, you can go buy things that are gonna help you towards your goals. So if you're somebody that's really into photography, it allows you to buy the gear that you need to go to the next level. If you're into, for example, finances or getting ahead, it allows you to invest in yourself or another course, so you're going to get a pay rise at your job. So, and others, you may just save enough money so that you can start investing in the stock market, or you might be able to save for a deposit on a house. So by having those savings sort of build up over time, you're going to go a long way in life, you know, but you have to start today. You don't want to turn 40 and realize that you've been wasting the last 20 years by paying everybody else first and neglecting yourself. So the next thing that gets people into trouble and into poor money habits is that they don't have a buffer of savings. So because they don't have any savings, when something suddenly comes up for payment, like a dental bill, they have to go into debt to be able to pay for that, or borrow money off friends, or get a loan. So you always want to have a buffer of about 3 to 6 months. Once that 6 months buffer is available to you, you can use that to basically pay for anything that comes up out of the blues. It might be a repair bill that's come up all of a sudden, or your fridge breaks down and you need to go buy a new fridge, you know? Then you're not scrambling to go find that money. So have 3 to 6 months worth of savings, 6 months minimum in my eyes, and if you can go towards a higher amount, which is 12 months. Getting into bad debt can also cause a lot of grief for people. The amount of interest that you would pay on a credit card is anywhere between 20 and 28%. When you have bad debt, you've got to basically pay that off before you're at zero. And when you're at zero, only then you can push into the positive territory. So you got to always keep in mind that you don't have to have the latest iPhone, and you don't want to grab it and get into debt because that's not considered good debt, you know. That phone is going to devalue and you're still going to be having that debt to pay. And often when you have bad debt, you're paying such high interest that you're paying for the phone twice almost, you know, by the time you pay it off. So consider waiting until you have savings to buy these sort of things rather than going into debt. Now, one of the interesting things that when I talk to people that are struggling with their finances, they often have this thing in common. They don't know exactly how much they make or their household income is, and they also don't know how much they spend. They feel like they spend this much, but often when you get into the nitty gritty, they're spending a lot more. And what they think they're making is often quoted as the highest they've made, but often they're making less than that. People often don't take the time to really write down things and get crystal clear on what they're actually making and what they're actually spending. And there's a lot of tools out there that will help you with that, but you can just start off with something as simple as a spreadsheet. And all you have to do is go through your statements and go through line by line where your money is going out and line by line where your money is coming in. You can then work backwards to figure out, okay, if I'm in a bit of a jam or a pickle, then I need to do this, or I need to earn this much more to get myself out of this situation. And that can be so amazing for some people because they're not able to do that on their own. And that's where someone like me will come in and help individuals and get crystal clear on where they're at the moment, and so that I can help them align with the future that they want to see for themselves and their families. The next common trait that people that have poor money habits is that often they turn down opportunities. They turn down opportunities for extra hours, for overtime, for more work, and even turn down good opportunities that present themselves in terms of getting a business deal or getting a higher paid job, or hustling a little bit more. So often people are unaware that by turning down opportunities of earning more, they're really sabotaging their chances of success in the future. I've met quite a few people that have declined to become a manager or a supervisor because they perceive that the stress that's going to be involved in that higher paying role is going to be significantly more, when actual fact it's only a little bit of a jump. And they're not willing to put themselves into discomfort to be able to earn more. So I'd encourage you guys, if you get an opportunity to increase your skill sets or take up new opportunities, that you consider taking it. At worst, if things don't go well, you can always go back to your old position, but you don't get the chances for promotions that often. So always take promotions. People believe in you, and you should start believing in yourself, and you can start really making some dents into your debt, or you can really make some way in terms of investing because you're going to have more funds. My next point is going to be about how when people do get pay rises, they often start spending even more. They'll start traveling, they'll go buy something straight away like a car. So when people come across money, they spend it as fast as they can. So it's really important to build good habits from a start, but it's not too late to start today. There's a thing called lifestyle creep, where whenever you get a pay rise, all that money, instead of living on what you've been living on for the last few while, and using that extra money for savings or investing and getting ahead in life, what often happens is that lifestyle inflation occurs and you end up spending that extra bit into your lifestyle anyway. You start buying more clothes, bigger brands, you start buying fancier cars and luxury items. So that is another common trait that keeps people poor. And it's fine while you're working, but you have to consider that one day you're going to need to stop working, whether it be forced on you through bad health or replacing you with better talent. Eventually you're going to retire and you're going to need some money to be working for itself, and that's why it's so important to be investing as you go. So hopefully you'll get the idea that you can get ahead, but you have to stop sabotaging what you're doing. Now, one of the other traits that I've come across recently is that I've come across successful entrepreneurs or business people or high income earners, and what I've found is that they are saving a lot of their money, but they are not putting their money towards investments or assets that will grow in time. So what they're finding is that they've got a lot of savings, but it's just sitting in a bank account earning very little interest. And what happens every year is that the value of the dollar, the value of your currency tends to go down each year by 2 or 3% due to inflation. So what your dollar can buy today will be totally different in 5 years' time. A can of Coke may cost $1 today, but in 5 years' time it might cost $2. So over time, your money that you are saving is losing value. So you need to have it in a high interest earning account, or you need to put it towards investing or into assets where it will grow and produce more money for you. It's not a nice to have, it's pretty much an essential thing that you need to do these days, especially when governments start printing lots of money because their economy's gone down or something's happened like COVID. So you want to make sure that you've got a plan B in place to look after yourself in the future. And the last thing that I want to say is that often people that are keeping themselves poor, they are in that position because they don't really care. They have this attitude that you only live once, and because of that, they feel like that it'll be right or she'll be right in the future. The government or somebody will come and save them. And the truth of the matter is that nobody is coming to save us. We have to look after ourselves. We have to plan for tomorrow. And while you may only live once, you are gonna be living longer as the technology and medical care gets better and better each year. So make sure that you are saving for your future, but also you're planning for your retirement, so that when you do retire, you've got income coming in, so you can keep the same lifestyle and you can keep doing the hobbies that you love to do. So don't be afraid of that. It's just part of life and the game that we are playing. So hope you guys found today's video useful. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. What are the things that you think are keeping people poor these days? And what is helping people get ahead? Until next time, over and out. I'll see you on the next one.